Hey, everybody, and welcome to Saturday, which is Midway on the Uplift. Wow. Did I pick a good topic? Based on all your responses to me, text, comments, direct messages on Instagram, you all really liked the task at hand and thinking about what we kind of set in motion last night during our cocktails with conversation about do-overs. Now, two really great ideas. I was so struck with this and really surprised. I got a DM from a woman that follows, and she said that she had turned her friend on to the podcast, and they decided that there's 4 of them that usually get together for cocktails once a week, and they're going to listen to the broadcast, turn it off, make the cocktail of choice, and then they're going to discuss what we put out for all of us to consider thinking about. I thought that was a great social idea. I would love to see this concept. As I always say, it's not just about, oh, Krista, thank you. You made me feel. Turn it around and expand it into your own life with your friends and your family. And speaking of family, there was a wife who wrote to me and said, my husband and I have been listening together, and it gives us a point or topic to start and launch our conversation with one another. And we were really surprised at both of our responses from the do-over that you posed last night. So I thought that was incredibly inventive and full of ingenuity, and I just loved it. So I want to pass it by. Thank you so much for sharing those thoughts with me. Do-overs. We got a lot of input. Now, by the way, just personally, the 2 do-overs I was referencing last night have nothing to do with romance. I think so often, and we touched upon this last night, so often when somebody says a do-over, we instantly go back to like a relationship that we left behind or whatever. That wasn't the case for me. Both of my major do-over moments were very pivotal to me, but my first one was at a very early age of 11 years old. And my second one was during my second year of college. So I want to put that in perspective, because a lot of you came back with the same ideas too, and said, almost like you were feeling guilty. Oh, I didn't have a relationship that I wanted to do over. That wasn't the point. We were looking at do-overs more like pathways we didn't take, forks in the road, sliding doors. If any of you are familiar with that movie, what would happen if just one little tiny thing changed in your life? A lot of yours were work related. A lot of you talked about simply resurrecting talents that you once wanted maybe to drive your life toward and manufacture your life to work and be around. A lot of you talked about painting. Someone talked about singing, renewing friendships, and repairing what I call family ships, because there's always room in families for things to get misunderstood and people to get a little bit frantic and impatient with one another in some settings. So I was really struck by the variance of what everyone was talking about. But as I said, please just don't talk to me. Put it in the comments. Put it in, whether you're watching this via YouTube or you're watching it at length on Instagram. Those seems to be the 2 major engines going right now. Put your thoughts in the comments so we can start a broader conversation. I think that would be the way to go with this, because we started out looking for a way to be positive about life and to share our connections with other people who felt the same way, who are tired of the negative impact of the messaging that we receive and the media that we listen to, and sometimes the stresses that we need to overcome from our daily life. And it gives us a safe place to be with one another and to share our thoughts. So I encourage you to like and follow and subscribe. Of course, that goes without saying. But my real drive is to get an interconnection going with people. It was funny how many of you actually reached out to me and told me that you were taking my suggestion about the notebook. I've done notebook work for lots and lots of years. If you've ever read a book called The Artist's Way, for those of you that are in creative pursuits or interested in them, detailing and journaling, that was where I was first introduced to it. And then, of course, there's The Secret and The Magic books. The author's name escapes me right now. My apologies. But detailing and notebooking, journaling, writing things down, reflecting on them is also pivotal work that I was introduced to from those two sources. And I could tell you, as someone that practiced it, it really does. It works to see it in black and white. It works whether you're making a list of things that you're full of gratitude for, or making a list, like we were talking about last night, of moments that you can clearly identify as being choices in the road. And maybe years later, you're saying, ooh, if I could have a do-over there, man, oh man, would I take advantage of it? It was interesting, the conversations that were coming up. So I ask you to share yours. Now, remember, it's not important that you watch these things on the evening or the day that they're released. A lot of people carry them into the work week with them when they need a little oomph. They're just going to be here floating around. When you find it, that's your time. You were meant to find it. I believe in stuff like that. So here's a Saturday assignment. Oh no, there's homework with your notebook in mind that we just tried to encourage you all to get. When you have those pivotal moments, those thought-provoking do-over moments, really look at your list and how many can you actively go back and take advantage of. In other words, I'm using something really simple that someone wrote into me about and said, my kind of fork in the road was that I always wanted to go to school for art. And I went the completely opposite way. And it's always been a longing. But the person was describing that they haven't even dabbled in art since they made that fork in the road choice. So what I'm saying to you tonight is, why not? It's never too late for things like that. Yes, you can't go back and change some things. There are some things in life that can't be changed, but there are others that you can come back and enhance into your life now. Look at your list. If it has conquerable things, if your do-over is a relationship, a friendship that maybe got messed up along the way for a silly reason, there's time to repair that. There's time to repair your family relationships. There's time to develop a talent that you wanted to pursue but never really did. This is what I'm trying to get all of us to see. It's never too late. And that's something that we say all the time, I think, to make people who haven't reached their life essence or what they really wanted to do with their life. And we said, well, it's never too late. It's never too late. Sometimes we say it, we only half-heartedly believe it, and the person doesn't really receive the message as deeply either. But I made an interesting note. I have on my piece of paper, Grandma Moses. Grandma Moses, for those of you, you could Google this, you may find conflicting years, but the majority of the things that I Googled said Grandma Moses did not begin to paint until she was 78. Yes, I'm pausing. That's pretty astounding, but listen to this. Grandma Moses graced the cover of Time magazine in December of 1953. She was 95 years old. And her quote on the cover, when I Googled it, I looked up the artwork. was every day is Christmas. I was kind of bowled over. I don't know that much about her. I know her artwork, of course, as we're all pretty much acclimated to it. But her story was not that well known to me. The age brackets that she started to see her success, her recognition, her accomplishments should give us all pause. And that's just one scenario. You have a million stories on your own, maybe of just personal people that you've known too, who didn't hit it, whatever it was and is. It never hit it till later on in life. It all doesn't have to happen in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. Some of you are on this call and it has happened for you. Other people are still thinking, is it all going to end without me achieving that thing that's in my heart? And that's what I'm trying to get you to see. There's lots of room for beginning again, and it's never too late. As the song goes, the best is yet to come. You should play that tonight when you have your cocktails and your conversations. No, we don't do that on Saturday. Don't do that. So if you're still with me, give this another degree of thought. What can you go back and repair? What can you go back and reawaken? What can you go back and grab from the past and bring into the present with brilliance and light and joy? A lot of you said, you were unhappy at work. Well, the reality is a lot of us, are you going to quit your job? Some of you will, but others of you who need to pay for your life. So quitting your job is not the option right now, but finding joy and bringing joy into your off time is. So what do you do to counterbalance a job that maybe doesn't thrill you? You do something that brings you joy. You do something that honors yourself. You bring something that brings you creativity and value and essence and love, even if it's self-love. That's a whole nother segment. So with that, I leave you on a Saturday night with quote of the day. Take a deep breath and listen to this one. Life always gives you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. So when you wake up tomorrow, do what we said a couple weeks back. Put those feet on the ground one at a time and say, thank you for allowing me to be here and for allowing me to have the advantage and the grace to start over and investigate what I left behind and to find happiness before the game is done. I will see you for the recap of the Uplift tomorrow. Thank you for coming on this ride. I hope you stay for the journey. Take care and have a wonderful Saturday.